Hello everyone. Today is Sunday, February 21st, 2021. Welcome back to Jacob Talks Politics. In this video, I'm going to be recapping the first month of President Joe Biden's term. Now, just yesterday on February 20th, Joe Biden reached his first full month, first 30 days in office. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at his approval rating as tracked by 538, as well as looking at an article that looks at the timeline of his presidency and just talking about some of the things that have happened during his first 30 days. So we're going to start with his approval rating. Right off the bat, you'll see that Joe Biden's approval rating, seen by the green line, has been in the net positive his entire term so far. And this is normal for presidents. They are usually more approved of than disapproved of early on in their term because they generally haven't done much. Now, if we look at Donald Trump's, we'll see that it actually started off in the negative, which was the first time this happened in a while. But Trump started off his term at 44.1%. And then we look at other presidents such as Obama and Bush and Clinton and Bush before that and Reagan. We see that their approval ratings started in the positive, but not Donald Trump's. And Joe Biden's has. So he has maintained an average of about 54% approval if we look at all of the polls. And if we look at polls of likely or registered voters, we see that that is slightly higher. And we see if we're looking at just polls with adults, then it's a little bit lower. But it averages at around 54%. And today, as of today, actually this is as of February 19th, it was at 54.5% approval. And if I'm doing the math correctly, it looks like about a 16% margin between the people who approve of Joe Biden and the people who disapprove of Joe Biden. So now we're going to take a look at the timeline of his presidency. Now, of course, on Wednesday, January 20th, that is when the inauguration took place. And we can see this picture here of Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, swearing him in, his first lady right next to him, Jill Biden. On his first day, President Biden issued an executive order to revoke the permit of the Keystone XL pipeline and overturn various other Trump administration environmental policies. He also issued an executive order that would halt funding for the border wall along the Mexican border. He also lifted the travel ban that was very controversial, that was enacted in Donald Trump's first few days in office. And then we also have Avril Haines, who was confirmed by the Senate as the seventh Director of National Intelligence. And then we have Press Secretary Jen Psaki holding her first briefing on the first day in office, which is actually kind of unusual. The press secretary usually won't have a briefing on the first day, but that's what they did for Biden's term. Biden signed an additional 10 executive orders on his second day, having to do with COVID-19 response and vaccination efforts. And then we also have the QAnon supporting Trump loyal Congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who actually introduced articles of impeachment against Joe Biden on his second day in office, which I honestly don't know why. On this account, on this channel, I try to be as unbiased as possible, even though I do have a more left-wing bias. But even from an unbiased point of view, I don't know how you can see this person as sane or good for American politics at all. I mean, the things that she's said and done before and after she took office, it's just insane. And then a few days later, the House of Representatives actually voted to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments. So that happened. And Lloyd Austin, who is a retired four-star general, was confirmed by the Senate as the first Black Secretary of Defense. We can see that Joe Biden met with Justin Trudeau as well. He met with Mexican president and the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the French President Emmanuel Macron. We have some more executive orders, it looks like. Then we also had on January 25th is when President Trump's second impeachment trial started in the Senate. On January 25th, President Biden spoke with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. On January 26th, Joe Biden's Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, who formerly served as the Deputy Secretary of State and has been in politics for a long time under the State Department, was confirmed by the Senate. We saw that Biden spoke with Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. Let's see. President Biden spoke with the Secretary General of NATO, and Vice President Harris received her second shot for the COVID-19 vaccine. We have the first weekly public briefing of the White House COVID-19 response team. We have the Biden speaking with the Japanese Prime Minister. On January 29th, President Biden met with soldiers at the Walter Reed Medical Center. And let's see. On February 2nd, Pete Buttigieg, who was a 2020 Democratic presidential candidate and the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, he was chosen as Joe Biden's Secretary of Transportation. And I was hoping that Pete would get a cabinet position, maybe Secretary of Veterans Affairs or something like that, but I wouldn't have expected him to get Secretary of Transportation. But he was confirmed by the Senate, and so was Alejandro Mayorkas as the Secretary of Homeland Security. Let's see, we have the funeral for Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. President Biden spoke with the leaders of South Korea and Australia. Oh, and then this is big. On February 5th, the U.S. Senate passed a budget resolution as a step to approve President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package, but rejected the minimum wage package he proposed, and Kamala Harris cast her first tie-breaking vote as vice president. So if you don't know about this, if there's ever a tied vote in the Senate, 50-50, the vice president gets to break that tie. So with a 50-50 Senate between Democrats and Republicans, there's likely to be a lot more tied votes like the one that Harris broke. We have the Super Bowl. We have the Senate confirmed Dennis McDonough as the 11th Secretary of Veterans Affairs. We have President Biden spoke with the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping. Then President Biden on February 12th said that he would review closing of the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba by the end of his term. We have Vice President Harris met with Emmanuel Macron on February 15th. And I'm skipping over some things. I'm not quite reading everything. I'm just seeing some things that catch my eye. I know this might be boring, but just a little recap. And on February 17th, we had President Biden speaking with the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. A few nights ago, President Biden actually had you might have watched a town hall with Anderson Cooper on CNN, and I'd say he did fairly well. I didn't quite like his answer on China. He was asked about whether he talked about the Uyghur concentration camps with Xi Jinping, and Biden said, I can't quite remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of he acknowledges that our two countries have different cultures, and that was kind of his excuse for the concentration camps. I'm probably not being too reliable on that, but that's sort of what he said, and I just didn't really like that. Then we, of course, had the freeze over the freezing temperatures and the disaster in Texas, which has left millions of people without power. And of course, Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, decided to take a vacation to Cancun, which became very, very controversial. And on February 20th, President Biden declared a major disaster in Texas arising from the severe frost conditions, clearing the way for more federal funds to be spent on relief efforts. So now it's February 21st, and of course, nothing really yet has happened today. But yeah, that's the first month of Joe Biden's presidency. So he's definitely done a lot through executive order. Uh, there's a lot more to come. I wish that he starts working a little more with Congress, especially on his $1.9 trillion relief package. And apparently, President Biden is expected to address a joint session of Congress sometime in March after that package is passed, if it is passed. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're interested in seeing political content like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the channel with your friends.